to the Round Circle Podcast. I am your host, the Fifth General.
I'm Zaccheus
and Cinemascapes.
All right, episode 10. So today we're going to touch on several things. Zaccheus is back from Haiti. He's going to talk about his Haiti experience. He's going to talk about the Haiti they don't show on television, which I'm excited to hear about that. We're going to talk about the passing of Dick Gregory, his contribution to the civil rights movement, his knowledge, his thought, his wisdom, and empowering the black community. We're also going to talk about what's currently the aftermath of the Charlottesville situation. And then we're going to talk about more NFL players joining the protest since Kaepernick. Okay? So my boycott still is in effect, but this is just things that I've seen in the news. So we're going to talk about that. All right. So first, Zaccheus, tell us about your Haiti experience and the reason why you was out there and what actually happened.
Well, last week I was in Haiti for 7 days. Me and my wife went out there to do missionary work. And what we seen was we was in an area called Titayan, an area that's where the mission is run, Hope Mission for Haiti. And what they do out there is they basically give the Haitian community, Haitian young people that I met, a few names I can mention that I know, the few guys, the natives that I mentioned from that's Haitian, that have jobs out there that's doing pretty good with their jobs out there. They're employing most of the young people, Haitian young people, and they're also building up money to send them to school. So they are getting schooling out there. They're getting getting education out there, as well as a meal and more than one meal a day. And they're also building homes for the natives, because remember, after the earthquake, a lot of people living in tents. So what Mission of Hope is doing is building more homes for a lot of the natives that's been homeless after the earthquake, which happened in 2010. But what is good? They still need to do more work, but Haiti, as far as tourism, is building up a little bit in Haiti, because they have a lot of people coming from the U.S., also from Canada, that's contributing to Haiti and building it up. Not only in Labadie, because there's area in Labadie area just all tourism, but also off of Ismailé, an area in Haiti that has a beach resort, hotel and beach resort that was beautiful. I just took in a few pictures and I'm taking it in of the resort, gorgeous resort out there, and also that with that resort, it's giving more Haitians jobs and giving more Haitian not only men jobs, but also giving more young women jobs too, and helping them to go to school, because they have to pay for school. They have to pay for school to go to school. The children have to pay to go to school in Haiti, and the young people have to pay to go to school in Haiti. So my experience of us going out there was quite an experience, because we got to meet a lot of, they go to the villages, and a lot of people thought I was Haitian. Everybody thought I was Haitian when I went out there. Everybody was speaking Creole to me. And but it was okay, because I pick up a few words, I pick up like at least 10 to 15 words in Creole. And the wife, she speaks it fluently, so it kind of helped us out a lot too. So and plus they had the interpreters, which was few people. I have a friend that I met out there named Brunsley. I have a picture of them, him and his staff, that they're interpreters, and they was able to speak English plus Creole too. And they telling us the progress in Haiti, But I also want to jump on the contributions that people send to Haiti. I would tell them to do their research, because the money never really, sometimes it doesn't really get to the people, because sometimes they don't get to the people. It gets to the foundations, and the foundations get their share, and the people get a little bit of it. some foundations, not all, but some foundations are making sure that doesn't happen. They're making sure that it gets to the villages to build up the schools and to build up the resorts to help Haiti with this economy and to help Haiti progress. So what I seen in Haiti was it was bad, but it's also good. A lot of people that's trying to do good there and trying to build up Haiti from the time of Duvalier when he was there and he did his dirt. But we just this is 2015, so we've seen a little bit of progress in Haiti, you know. So I want to say bonjour Kumaye, bourgeois Kumaye. That means bourgeois Kumaye means good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Right.
You know.
And also Sak Base Mabule. You know.
Yeah.
I have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
What was your treatment down there? How were you treated in Haiti?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Me and my wife been down there. We were the only black couples that was within the all the missionaries that was there, and there are some couples there that were all white, Caucasian from different parts of the country. You had from California, Miami, West Palm Beach. You had some from Canada. You had some from everywhere. Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. One couple said they were from Montgomery, Alabama. So we were only black folks coming from New York City out there. Out of 40
from New York City or from the States?
From the States.
Okay.
Period. I mean, from the States. Period. So, so I just noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
But and I want to say that sometimes we just need to or some of our folks need to just reach out more and to reach out to other brothers and sisters out there that is going through some hard times and suffering, you know. But the treatment that we got out there was okay. Some people was taken back that I was not Haitian. They were like, "What? Wait!" One guy opened his eyes really wide, like, "Whoa, he's not Haitian." So really, people really thought I was Haitian, but it was more like first of all, we didn't fit in the first when we went down there because we felt like, okay, well, we feel like felt a little bit awkward. But I mean, some of the interns and staff members were okay towards us. The Haitians just embraced us a whole lot, and then I heard when some Haitians was talking to my wife saying that they're not really getting the money that they need to survive from the foundation. So the foundation will come out there. So as soon as we got there, some of the head leaders of the foundation told us not to give them money. Don't give no Haitians no money. That was the rules. Now, when they said this, we were literally taken back because we know that they paid them, but it's not. But guess what? They get paid. They only get paid $2 an hour. They get paid $2 an hour. So the U.S. dollar is worth 62 goods, Haitian goods. It's worth 62 goods. The U.S. dollar is worth that much. So when I see some sister and brethren that we see out there, quietly we gave them a little piece of money, U.S. money, because they know that sometimes they don't get paid enough just to sustain their everyday living. So we was able to give the drivers something, the interpreter something, just to help out a little bit, because I can't see my brothers and sisters suffering, and I'm standing right by them. And then we're sharing the gospel, but sometimes they need help too, as well. Physical help too. Spiritual help, but also physical help too.
Cinema, you have any questions for Zaccheus?
So the foundation, they took you deep into Haiti?
Yes.
Or were you hitting major cities? I'm just, for clarification for people listening.
Yes, we went deep into Haiti. Titan is where we stayed. Ismaïl, they had a few other villages that we went to. La Fini, and I forgot there's another one. Moshami. There's another one that starts with an M that we went into, and we went into play with it. We went, and I really got in touch with the natives. My wife was working in the prosthetic labs, and to help the other natives that was lost their limbs during the time of the earthquake. But
okay,
so I was more into the the getting into the, visiting home to home, and with some few other Americans, and then getting into the then speaking to them about the gospel, going door to door, and also playing soccer with them, football with them, and also playing a little basketball with them. It was a place in Ismaileh that had a basketball field where the college Oklahoma basketball team goes and play once a year. Practice. I remember playing over there, and some of the Haitian natives, young men, said that they seen some of these players, how big they are, and they seen some of the Americans come down there and they play basketball. So it's a lot of potential in Haiti. There's a lot of potential. It still needs a lot of help. It still needs a lot of work, but there's a lot of potential as far as like they need more improvement on the dirt roads. They have some people that need some better homes because of it. A lot of them live in shanty towns where they're living in mud. They have no ceiling. They have no because every time it rains, the rain comes into the sheds where they live in. It comes into the homes.
Right, because there's no foundations and there's
yeah. So they still need
and for people who are listening, when you go into a lot of these countries, like I went to Nicaragua, and where people were living in garbage dumps with makeshift houses. They, if you don't have money, you can't. You usually have a makeshift home you put together. Doesn't have a foundation, so any inclement weather, even if it's not a natural disaster, affects and damages these homes.
Yes.
And there's no floors, so you walk through a lot of mud, and and things of that nature. So wow, yeah.
Also, they say you can sponsor a child there. I sponsored a child before I found out about this Hope Foundation. I have a child named Josiah who's 11. That's in Haiti, Carnivoy, Haiti. You can visit them too. You can visit the kids. You can visit your kids that you're sending, that you're sponsoring. You can send them. You can also go to Haiti and visit them, which I'm planning to do another time. To go visit your sponsored child that you sponsor through the foundation. When you go there, sometimes the money don't get to them. When you go there, it's good to see it for yourself. Go there and see the child that you're sponsoring, so you make sure that they're getting what they need. Because sometimes, not saying that the foundations don't give to the kids, but sometimes you have to see it for yourself to see where your money is going. Because if you don't, sometimes people will tell you that, the money don't come to us.
Correct. Correct.
And they ask for $50 a month. Sometimes some of them ask for $50, $30, $35 to $45 a month.
Yeah. And one more question. Have you run into orphanage? Did you run into orphanages? I have a friend who's from Haiti who was a minister in the church I grew up in. He's a pastor now. He has an orphanage in Haiti. He's from there. And so it's people there. And, his is pretty effective. But did you see a lot of orphanages there?
I seen 2 orphanages. One in Ismaileh and the other one in Lafayette. I seen 2 orphanages. I have a picture of me being in an orphanage with these kids that I was sitting down and I help feed a 2-year-old baby. I remember that, and sitting down and interacting with the kids in the orphanage and getting to interact with them. When I pull out my cell phone, they gathered around me and they just looked in awe, like, "Wow, we ain't got this." So they were just taken. I was just taken back. Went to 2 orphanages and be able to connect with the kids in the orphanage. Yes, I've been to 2 of them, 2 orphanages. Yes, it was good.
Yeah, there's a lot of orphans in Haiti.
A whole lot. Yeah.
A lot more than they even show you or depict.
Yeah. Haiti has a beautiful beach beach resort area.
Yeah, let's talk about the Haiti they don't show. So tell us about. Did you see any the reason why? Okay, for those who are listening, the reason why I'm asking Zaccheus this is because if anybody knows the history of Haiti, and this is probably for a Mrs. Ian 5th episode, but if anybody knows the history of Haiti, Haiti is being punished for being the first black, highly populated of a nation that was once a slave nation to rebel and actually win. And then because of that, they still pay reparations to France. Okay? That's disgusting. Why do they still have to pay France after France ruled them and did all this stuff and still continue to live off the natural resources that they have? So what they do in a way is hurt tourism from coming to Haiti. And the tourism that does come there, the people who work there don't get much. And then it's within that particular place, but the place that people go home to are, like you say, shanty towns, shanty living.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So I want Zaccheus to talk about the good parts of Haiti. And then also, I'm going to ask you a challenging question. What do you think the relationship between blacks in America here and black folks in Haiti, how do you think we could bridge some type of relationship so there's some type of togetherness between us here and them there so that they can get the things that they need?
I think from what I experienced when I went to Haiti with my wife, I think from what I seen and what I observed from many missionaries when I was there in Haiti, we were the only black couple. It was out of 40 white folks there. There were a couple up. They had a lot of couples there too with their kids. We were the only black folks there. So I think coming from America, I think there need to be more black missionaries going to Haiti, African American black missionaries going to Haiti to bridge that gap, because the Haitians there know that, and they even said it. They even said it to me one time that the white folks are benefiting from here. They come in here and they're benefiting. Some of them, not all, but some have an ulterior motive. They're benefiting. They're coming and they're taking over. They're running things in Haiti. Because I went to some of the off the mission base, and we went to certain areas, certain towns in Titayan, and we seen some white folks running things as far as like gift shops, as far as especially the hotel resorts, the Wahoo Hotel Resort. There was a woman. She was not black, but she could speak Creole, white woman, and she was running the resort. And I was saying that, man, but we know who run things here. The resort is gorgeous. It's a beautiful resort. That's not the only, Wahoo's not the only resort they have there. There's other beautiful beaches that was told from the interpreter that there's more beautiful beaches with resorts, gorgeous looking beaches, just looking like Jamaica, like Montego Bay, like you're looking at Montego Bay, or you're looking at like Barbados. Yeah. I think the gap, more the connection between African Americans and Haitians, I think more of us need to go down there and see what it's like, and go down there and just bridge that gap. And I know, not to take away from your vacations that they usually go to, because I see on Facebook a lot of our folks would like to let's go to the zip line, and nothing wrong with that. Going to Barbados and sitting down relaxing with a pina colada in our hand, nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying,
you're saying
go
meet with the people,
meet with the Haitians,
right,
and bridge that gap so they can see other black folks that like themselves to say, okay, well, here comes some black folks that can help us out. And that's what the Haitians are not seeing. They're seeing more white folks there, and they're bridging and they're going out there and they're reaching out and they're learning the Creole, and not only they're learning the Creole, but they're also living there. They have some white folks that are living in Haiti,
and they live good there,
and they live great there.
Okay, so this is no different from the other Caribbean islands and other parts of Africa, because this is what happens. So, that we can get deeper with that, but we have to move on. This will be for another show. I'm not mad at what you're saying, but I'm actually starting to get fired up inside, because this is something that happens in a lot of places, and I just want to hold what I want to say for that. Otherwise, we won't be able to get on to these other subjects.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you had a good experience, and I respect your solution. We will have a show, Mr. Z, when Mr. Z and Fifth podcast comes back, we will have a topic about
bridging the gap
between us in America and black folks throughout the world. So I have a lot to say about that. A lot. So let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are still listening, I hope you're still listening. I also want to add in that I want to talk about Jay-Z's interview that he had with Rap Radar podcast. He said some things that were important, and we'll touch on that later on in the show, because we still like to keep the round circle with music-related news, because that's what we try to originally stay with.
Yes.
But these are just things we had to talk about. Cinema. Okay. So I'm going to bring you in on this particular thing. So there's been some situation. Now we did a news report about the Charlottesville situation. For those who are listening, we're going to get to Dick Gregory in a second. I don't want people to think I'm forgetting that. But so remember, we talked about what happened. And here's the thing. I've watched the news, and whatever you've seen, I'm pretty sure you've seen what I've seen. Zaccheus, you probably seen that. A lot of people are forcing Trump to condemn white supremacy. Okay. And then he was sometimey with that. He had like 3, 4, 5 chances to say how he really felt about the situation. And he did a lot of deflect and deny. That's another white supremacist tactic. We talked about the woman who got killed by that white supremacist, basically vehicular manslaughter, vehicular homicide, because he killed the woman Heather Heyer.
Yes.
More could have got killed. Others just so happened to be injured seriously, and then she just happened to be the one to die. And my whole thing is this: how much more domestic terrorism from specifically white supremacists do we have to have for them to actually label this terrorism in America? They have no problem labeling it from other countries.
Right.
So Cinema, I just want to get you in on this. What's your opinion on the firing of Steve Bannon?
Oh, yes.
Because that recently happened, and the fact that a lot of people from that particular team has either quit. You had the one of the speakers, press secretaries.
Yes.
What was his name? Spicer.
Okay.
Right. He's gone. Somebody else is gone who I don't care about, and then Steve Bannon is gone. Okay. So what's your opinion on that? And then the second question is, does the firing of Steve Bannon make a difference?
Well, it all depends who you ask, because some places said he was going to leave quietly before, but then Charlottesville happened. But that this separation was going to happen, and then the cryptic tweet from his place where he's going back to,
Breitbart.
About war.
Yeah, Breitbart Media.
Yeah, and so, opinion-wise, I think they realize that their influence wouldn't be as much there as they've had through their media. And, we have a lot of media. We have a lot of unchecked media here in this country. That's a whole nother program, so I won't dig deep into that. But the whole difference is, what I believe is going on is, the Republicans are really now, they weren't concerned, but now they are, to where you have some of them coming out and they're literally fighting for the face of their party. You have some people quoted as talking about, the origins, but we know that flip-flopped in the 60s. Factually. The two parties switch views in the 60s, even though the KKK started with the Democrats. You may have heard that, but we have people deflecting to that. But then,
typical white supremacist talking point. But they forget to tell you the changing of the Republican Party and the Democrat Party at that time. They deny that reasoning, but they want to talk about the KKK coming out of the Democratic Party, but they never talk about why the Republican Party is not the party of old. And then basically they've switched. You know, they never want to bring that up because once you bring that up, that puts the onus and the responsibility back on white supremacy. And usually the white supremacist tactic is to stop talking about it because otherwise they need to feed this narrative that, you know, and normalize white supremacy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cinema. I just want to throw that. I just want to throw that in there. I just want to throw that in there. Go ahead.
So basically, with that in mind, with, you know, what Bannon stands for, you can research that. I'm not going to go through that because that's also, you know, right now, you know, there's something called the doggy paddle in swimming. Yeah. And so basically, you have your audience and who got you in there elected. But as far as getting reelected, a lot of people who supported Trump in light of these last couple of weeks, and it'll be 2 weeks away when this program airs. Yeah. So a lot of people are backpedaling. Some people aren't. Some preachers on the radio talking about, I gave out guns, but I won't mention them yet. That's another program. I might have to come on Z and Fifth for that. So basically, you, what this country was founded on, and then what it's supposed to mean now. There's the disconnect is with millennials because you've been taught there's an ideal, but now you're dealing with a system that's not ready to change. You've taught that there's a new ideal and that this is a different America, but now, you know, the sheets are off. And as I said in the other broadcast, Zaccheus wasn't here for the sheets are off, but the sheets are off. And under the sheets, you find the same old America. And you have people victim. This next generation, this generation that's now behind me and Zaccheus, doesn't have the ideals of the generation that's in front of me and Zaccheus. That's beginning to die off. Yeah. And it's starting to come to a head. Because if certain groups want to teach tolerance for their order, other things have to be accepted as well.
Yes.
Wow.
And so you're getting a spin on that. And that's what a lot of these people don't like. And that's why they're coming out swinging. And so, you know, in the 60s, we came out swinging. Now they're coming out swinging because they're seeing the end in sight and they're trying to get it into another generation. And that was the whole thing is this time they didn't come with sheets. So when they went back to work, I saw you, goodbye. Because if your customer's Oprah and that guy works for you, you're about to lose a lot of money, for example. But, you know, so what, you know, in my opinion, I won't use the Rachel Maddow quote, but, but in my opinion, I believe, you know, it's the doggy paddle to stay afloat because he's not going to go back on it, but he can't have certain things around certain types and certain types of people around him in his day-to-day advising because, you know, it's not going to be tolerated. And, you know, and recently this weekend, because we're recording on the 22nd, this weekend, you know, you hear people protesting, walking down streets saying, move, Trump, get out the way, get out the way. Yeah. You know, they're using Ludacris' songs. Yeah. And dude was getting protested all weekend with, you know, limited coverage because, you know, and then yesterday he looked into the eclipse.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, you have the comedy aspect because, you know, our community loves to make everything a joke, and they don't like that because a joke isn't a big deal to us, to us. And so we like to make fun. We like to make funny things out of it as well, and like take clips and things. And so, in that light, as far as meme world and stuff, against social media, a lot of these, Republicans are in the technology wave to where the Obama administration used technology to their advantage, to where them having technology in their hand, this administration has caused a lot of controversy. And then you have families fighting over this dude, breaking up. And to finish answering your question, the firing of this is to kind of sedate the mainstream supporters of his votes. He's lost a lot of supporters. Basically, no one ever makes a move for the retractors. You shouldn't, career-wise, you shouldn't make a move for your haters. So that move isn't about, the left. It's about people he lost, during this, who were upset that he couldn't make a stand. And so that support, and then he's polling lower than he was, as far as approval. So, it's about getting reelected,
Yeah. Well,
we're just saying all that, and to get, it's about getting reelected, and he's trying to get people back, and right now he's in, so to speak, the doghouse with a lot of people, because a lot of people play a lot of things that the Republicans and Democrats go against, but a lot of people don't play that. Don't play. A lot of people have lost family in World War II. They talk about people's grandfather's heritage. The Jewish community doesn't play that.
Yeah, see?
Because anything that resembles the Holocaust coming around, and that's, now you're talking money, resources, and things of that. That's the community that's really been touched by this, because those people who protest, they interviewed a lot of them, and they were even talking about people in his family, son-in-law in particular, and his race.
Yeah, I seen that.
And so I saw it, I saw it on NBC. So YouTube, but we're getting to the nitty gritty. We're still not talking about the black community. We're talking about another community that has influence with their dollars.
Oh, thank you. Please get into that. Please get into that, because I want black folks to understand this. I don't want black folks to get distracted. They're not doing all of this so they could be nice to black folks. Number one, they're doing all of this because they don't want to hurt their connect with Israel. I just want people to understand that. These Confederate statues, and I have to mention this so that we could use that as a point. These Confederate statues that are being taken down, a lot of this is happening because this is what the media is doing. The media will say, "Oh, well, they saying things that are offensive to black people, Jews, and LGBT." Now, I'm noticing that the talking points are starting to shift towards, "Oh, they're offending Jews and LGBT," to, "Oh, they're offending Jews." You see the pattern that I'm getting into? So I just want people to understand that what's happening ain't for you. It's for them. And as far as the Jewish community is in a better position financially to actually fight against such injustice, as opposed to black folks.
Speak on it.
So this is why we're hearing the things, and this is why they've been playing. I'm gonna get it back to you, Cinema. I didn't figure. I just want to throw this in there so people understand. And then also they're showing the clip from Vice Media.
I know
the particular clip that they're showing looping is the part where, at that Tiki Torch rally that was before the actual other rally, because they were yelling out, "Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. Blood and soil, blood and soil." Wow. These are Nazi chants during the blood and soil one. These were Nazi chants during Nazi Germany. I mean, they said it in German. They didn't say it in English.
What is
in Germany?
In Germany,
but
said in Germany,
But basically, in here, they said what that in English. So that's why we understood what they said. So this is more so talking about that. So I'm going to give it right back to you, Cinema, because I don't want you to forget your point.
Right. And so when you're dealing with that, you can't have someone like Bannon around you because that will not be tolerated.
Right. Israel's our biggest ally. Also want to throw that in there. So that's another reason why.
Yeah. Ironically, Jimmy Fallon, when he hosted Saturday Night Live, which repeated this weekend, did a skit on that when he had to choose between Kushner and Bannon. Right. And this is an old skit. This skit wasn't made this weekend, but it was like he chose Kushner and went to the little play desk, Alec Baldwin. It re-aired this weekend. Right. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Because, basically, we know what goes on. And the whole thing is, if you've listened to this, I claim Christianity. So the world system runs on mammon, money, and, mammon, the power of money and of status and those things.
Yes.
And so basically these moves were made for mammon, not so much a community,
aka capitalism.
Yeah. So exactly. If you're not into mammon or biblical terms, capitalism, same thing. So basically, these moves were made because what left first before the ministers' council? The business council broke up almost immediately.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who left. Now, they didn't all leave, but a lot of people are leaving because of boycott threatenings.
Yes.
Yeah,
so that's the only reason. And also their ties with the Jewish community as well.
I mean, but the later ones were threatenings, but their people were like, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's what should happen.
That Saturday after the speech. And then A.R. Bernard was the first minister to resign, and he had resigned the 15th. But he didn't.
Wait a minute. A.R. Bernard resigned?
Yeah, from the minister council.
Yeah.
He was the first one.
Wow.
Yep. He had resigned on the 15th, but he didn't make it public till later because it really wasn't news. Other things were going on. Yeah. It became public because he didn't announce it, but he just, he was out.
He was on Meet the Press, I think, on NBC or America Today. One of them things on Sunday.
One of the Sunday programs.
Yeah. Also, he was on CNN. Who you didn't see step down was Paula White and Billy Graham Jr. Just throwing that out there. And Wayne T. Jackson. Just throwing that out there.
Graham.
Yeah.
Franklin Graham.
Oh, that's his name?
Franklin Graham.
Okay.
Trust me.
Thanks
Franklin Graham?
for correcting me. So I just want to throw that out there because Paula White said, even after all of this, first of all, I can't stand that woman.
Hold on. That's Trump's one of her parishioners. So continue.
Yeah, because she said, if you're against Trump, you're against God. So she's definitely
wow.
So first off, forget her. Let me just say this.
Can I make a point?
Just a second.
After you finish.
Right. Yeah. I just want to say this real quick. Forget her and the horse she rode in on. Cinema, go ahead.
Love not the world, nor the things of the world. Love of the world is enmity with God. It's like no one wants to hear scripture. They want to hear their opinion and they want to ride on it. And a lot of people don't really know scripture. And there's some information I will not divulge, but I will talk to you, but remind me to tell you off air.
Yeah.
Because I know too much and oh no. And so we'll leave that alone. But there are things. I'm going to say this because this is our podcast. When you allow politics to take your eyes off the cross and the message of the cross and dilute you, either way, for whoever you're for, because, I'll say this. For this election, a lot of us weren't happy with the two choices we were left with. We just would have rather had one over the other. But we weren't, either way, I wouldn't have been really happy. To begin with. So before you start coming with that, I'm gonna let you know. I wasn't happy with the two people left, personally. And a lot of people were attacking me because I was saying stuff about this one. I said if this the other one, I would have been saying just as much stuff. Because I didn't care for either one of them.
Yeah, same here.
One is the reason why we had to privatize prisons and a lot of black people thrown into jail and people disappear messing with them. And then over here you had this guy. And so
you dropping facts right now, man.
Wow.
About the Clintons, he dropping facts right now.
But the whole thing is, a lot of people don't look up what laws are passed, who passed them, who signed them, because a lot of stuff that comes into effect while this president's going, it was something signed by the last president. Then it has a start date on it that's in the next term. So you have to know a lot of things about how Go watch Schoolhouse Rock: How a Bill Becomes a Law, please. Basics. I mean, people don't know the basics of how our government runs nowadays. And I'm not saying that to be a mockumentary. It's a very Schoolhouse Rock: How a Bill Becomes a Law is very detailed and it explains it very well. If you don't have time to look all that stuff up, I'm not even trying to come at you like you're ignorant, but that's how they taught kids. Very informative back in those days. And so learn how our government works. A lot of people speak out a lot of things on our government and don't know the basics.
I'm just a bill and I'm sitting on Capitol Hill.
So the whole thing is, capitalism is not based on following people or the needs of the people. It's for its own system. So if you know this as a Christian, that this world system is enmity against God, but you live in the world but not of it, when you make yourself of it and get involved in things and start acting like that's what the word of God represents, you're causing confusion.
Yes. Because
that's not how it is. Because when I'm talking political, I'm talking political. I'm not talking about scripture, because I don't put these two things together. My views about the country aren't my views about how I live as a Christian. This is what I see our country doing. Right. So don't try to mix it up and call somebody a savior, because then that person ends up being an idol or a false Christ. So this dude is your idol. So you're really practicing idolatry in front of all of us. Because you've put this guy like his work is going to be above Jesus Christ. I have a problem with that. If you're a minister of the gospel, if you're not a minister of the gospel and don't care about Jesus Christ, I don't have a problem with you. Whatever your political system is what you believe. Blah. I'm not even going to get into that with you. I'm just, it's our program, so we can say what we want to say. So, and so, and that's what it is. That's cinema.
I gotta
and let me finish that.
No, go ahead, because I gotta hand it to Zaccheus next.
Definitely. And I'm sorry I'm taking long, but I want to. Take your time. I want to basically show the divide that it's not really, these choices are being made for financial reasons and connection reasons. Because if you lose a connection that really you need, if you lose campaign funding, if you lose a lot of things, because he doesn't have access to his money like he did for his campaign, so he would have to go through different channels for him to get that,
because he knows his money could be stopped at this point,
right? And so what if you're not there at your company? What if they come for it now and the people running it don't have what you have to keep it afloat if it was attacked? There's a lot of things that can be, and this is me just I'm just talking possibilities. I don't have knowledge. I don't get invited to the White House, and I know why, but but I'm gonna hand it off to Zaccheus. These things are what happens when you start mixing things together that don't belong together. The plight in America is for America. If you can march if you want to as a minister, you could be an activist if you want to. That's your personal choice.
Yes.
And then the whole thing is, But when you hit the pulpit and you say something like God said it, and it ain't in the word of God, and God tells you, "Cursed are you who put trust in man," and you're saying trust this guy from a pulpit, that's a different story. Now, I know what she said. I don't know if she said it from a pulpit or not. I'm not her judge, jury, executioner. I'm just speaking on the principle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're there and you're still like one of the ones there, and everybody else who's repping God is like, "Yo, Ichabod, I'm out of here," and you still here, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and I don't like, I don't come at people publicly, but
if it talks like a white supremacist, walks like a white supremacist, then dang it, it's a white supremacist.
And and yes, and yeah. on the Zaccheus. So
yes.
You was in Haiti while this stuff was happening, but I know you're up to speed now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask two questions.
Yeah.
First, what's your take on this? And second, same question: does firing Steve Bannon change anything?
No, because it's more.
Thank you.
No, it doesn't. It's just more. You know what it is? Know what it is? Steve Bannon. I caught the clips of what he was saying, that he's something about. CNN was saying that he's got his when he was fighting, he got his gun ready, he got his ammunition ready, whatever that means, But
he said, knowing the things that I know now, but he was alluding to him being stronger with his platform, Breitbart.
Okay,
I mean, he didn't actually mean a physical war.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't know that, to be exact.
Right.
But he was more talking on it from a media standpoint.
Yeah.
But like you said, it don't mean anything. It's business as usual. Trump is still going to be who he is.
Who he is,
And Trump was given almost like a pass to white supremacists, because he was talking about the KKK, but then he said something about they were talking about the alt-right and their ideas. And then he said, well, what about the alt-left and groups like them? They on many sides. There was stuff on many sides, and he basically, when he was forced into condemning the white supremacy. But here's my question: you can condemn white supremacy all you want by lip service. You have to show me that you actually condemn white supremacy. Where's the justice? And then he also said, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't mean to load the questions, but I'm going to give you all the time you need to respond, but I need to throw this in here too.
Throw it in there.
Because we have other topics. Mm-hmm. He said in his press conference in Trump Tower, he said Robert E. Lee had slaves, but so did George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Or you going to remove their statues too? I mean, when does it stop? You're changing history. You're changing culture. Okay?
Wow.
Zaccheus, what's your response to all of that?
Now, my take on that is that when he said you're changing culture, meaning that American, that's embedded in American soil, racism. So when you say culture, it's like when you say you're going to take on Abe Lincoln, that means, okay, yes, George Washington had slaves. Abe Lincoln had slaves.
Thomas
Jefferson had slaves. Robert E. Lee. That's what you mentioned him. You can't forget Robert E. Lee, the Confederate, leader around that time. And I think Jefferson Davis, who also that the statue was taken down, who owned slaves as well.
Right, that was part of the Confederate
flag. Confederate, yeah. Jefferson Davis had 74 slaves on his plantation. Now, when you say that's America, you're thinking you're getting rid of American history, American culture. That means that race, that segregation of race was embedded in American culture.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Trump. You probably misspoke, but
that's what you meant.
The abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yes. So when the statue you're taking out is saying what we're saying is that we bury this ugliness of America. We bury it when these statues are being taken down. Now let's just understand that that when you look at these statues, a lot of us black folks, a lot of folks walk around don't know what it means. That a lot of these statues that are up, they don't understand because a lot of us don't dig into history. A lot of us don't read. But when you do your research yourself and you understand the depth of these statues and understand why they're being taken down, then you understand why it's being taken down and why that is being thrown to the ground and folded up like paper and going to the ground. Because we're waving the Confederate flag, and that represented something too. That Confederate flag had a serious history, and that Confederate flag is deep for folks here in America. So when this is being taken down, and when the Confederate flag is being taken down, know what it is. And he's saying that this is taken down in their culture. That this is embedded into the American soil, race and bigotry in the American soil. America is still considered the number one racist country in the world. So this is why these statues and the Confederate flag is being taken down. Okay?
Well, they're not being taken down because they're finally apologizing for black folks either.
Okay.
So because if that was the case, they would have been torn down a long time ago. And then secondly, the Confederate Union lost. So why do they even have statues to begin with? And why is the flags, this whole Confederate talking point of, it has something to do with the celebration of the South? Bull crap.
So wait a minute,
because you don't see swastika flags still in Germany. Hello,
right. hello.
Is there still a Hitler statue in Germany?
No. Isn't Joseph Stalin taken down too?
Yeah, but that's Stalin is Russia. So yeah, I mean I don't know, but these are the point I'm making is.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You just made a point, and we need to back up.
Okay.
We don't see swastikas in Germany. We don't see anything from that.
No.
They what? What did they do to that?
They
the
took
Holocaust.
all of that down. They came
buried
down.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
you see?
Isn't the Jews behind it too? Like as far as the taking.
Do you see Russian flags in the Ukraine?
No. Not ever since the USSR broke up.
Yeah, I don't see that. No, that's why I mentioned Joseph Stalin. But you don't see that in Russia. You don't see those things in Russia.
See that?
No, I see the point you're making, Cinema.
Because and I know where you're going because I'm going to let you finish your point. Yeah. But I wanted to pause at that because we kind of went by that quick. But it's LL and Brad Paisley tried to make a song about accepting that flag. Remember? Mm-hmm. And they was on TV.
Wait a minute.
Forever trying to justify it.
What flag was this?
There's a line in the song, about. Hold on, let me look. There's a song about LL trying to say something about accepting the flag. Let me, I'm not gonna quote it because I don't know by heart. But
LL Cool J. Who?
He was making a song with Brad Paisley for his album.
Right, who's a country singer, by the way. Brad Paisley.
And they were trying to do something about unity.
Right.
But the Confederate flag came into play. Yeah. And every LL fan was like, what? Pump them brakes, LL.
LL took a L for that one.
He did. He took the L. He interviewed. And then they were on every there's a reel on YouTube of every interview they did because it's like an epic fail when they tried to justify the song because the song was out and marketed, so the label sent them out to talk
LL said, don't talk about the chains that I wear on my neck, and I won't talk about the chains you put on my people. But the song itself was weird because Brett.
You gotta be kidding me.
You gotta understand. You're in the studio late night and something sounds good, and to you guys it's good and it goes through everybody. But you haven't, you don't really hear. We all have that. and they was just feeling it because they were just taking things and just, we know what y'all were trying to do, so we ain't trying to hate on y'all, fault y'all. Nah, it wasn't working. And so it wasn't. These dudes were on TV, like every station, trying to save that song, and they couldn't. And the interviews, so, if this is before Obama was president while this happened,
right?
Zaccheus, and so if it couldn't have been accepted then,
exactly.
And people was like that, and it wasn't only black people talking about that flag who was going whoa to LA. It was a big uproar, and everyone's forgot about it. And it's like a post I said, these things have been lingering. They're flaring up because now you're trying to put it back in our face like we weren't mad about it. But these things have come up along the lines, and this is to the point. Why are you bringing that up? If somebody has it on their house, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't breaking their window because somebody in New York broke a window with that, Yeah. I ain't doing a crime. But, why is it in a public place? If somebody wants to have that on in Delaware, where I used to live, it used to be across the street from me. Real talk.
Wow.
I don't live in that neighborhood anymore. So, but,
Well, first off, all of look,
that,
if you want to get technical, the Confederate flag is not the only flag that's disrespectful that is revered today in a lot of places in America. Altogether, the American flag is disrespectful. Okay? The national anthem is disrespectful. The original Star Spangled Banner and all these other things that were was it Francis Scott Key?
The verses that have been omitted.
Yeah, Fifth. What about when people say, "Yo, okay, we can't get it and let's sing Amazing Grace"? Come on now, let's talk more,
dude. I will never. All right,
let's talk some more.
Okay, let me just say this.
Come on, Shimmy, let's talk some more.
Let me just say this about Amazing Grace real quick. I'm glad you said that. When I found out the history of
Buckle Up
Amazing Grace, because I just said who okay. So I mentioned Francis Scott Key, the original writer of Amazing Grace.
Is
he's a sucker because no he is because he's still even when, after that song still contributed and the slave ports of the actual slave trade, the shipment of slaves. So he's a sucker too. So ever since I learned about that, I said to myself, from now on, any funeral that I have involvement with as far as planning it, that song will not be sung on that day. Because Amazing Grace you hear all the time in funerals, especially the black ones.
Yeah, John his name was John Newton. I remember his name John Newton. Wasn't he
John
Newton?
Newton
was a slave trader.
Was a slave trader. He might have had slaves too, if I'm not mistaken, but he was definitely involved in the involvement of the slave transportation. So he's a sucker. And like I said, after he wrote that, he didn't stop what he was doing. Save the wretch. Get the heck out of here. So same Star Spangled Banner. Exactly, I mean, a lot of these things. This is why Colin Kaepernick is.
Yo, preach on my yo.
And this segues into my next one. I know I went past the Holocaust thing real quick.
Let's go. But let's get into this real quick. And Zaccheus, I need you to speak on this, and we're gonna head right into the NFL. Mm-hmm. I just said earlier, and this is why Cinema said, "Yo, hold on, let's bring this back." I said earlier that in Germany, you don't see swastika flags on Capitol buildings. You don't see Hitler statues still up. You don't see any of these things. So Germany has done a better job.
Russia has done a better. Okay.
Man, first off, let's stay with Germany because I can't speak on Russia. I don't know everything about Russia. Okay. I don't want to misspeak something and then I'd be wrong about it. Okay. Because if you ask me, a lot of the neo-Nazi revival after Germany was in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Facts. So anyway, now back to what happened. Germany has done a better job of removing the things that reminded people of the Holocaust than America has done removing the very things that remind us of slavery. Okay? And then, to answer your question, Mr. President 45, you said, does that mean we now have to get rid of George Washington statue and Abraham Lincoln statue? Well, if you really want to fix the problem, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Black people have been living in this nation
for all
this time, and nobody cared any time we got offended by something.
And nobody has a statue of a Native. They don't have a statue of a Native American up.
It's printed on our money. We got to look at this crap every day. We have a holiday every day called President's Day. We have all of these, Independence Day. We have all of these things that remind us of how bad things were for us. We've been offended all this time, systematically victimized all this time. Okay? But then you have a problem with us when we say that we have a problem in this nation. And these are the very things that you all constantly want to shove down our face and remind us of. No wonder black folks suffer from all of this insecurities and low self-esteem. Because every time we turn around, we learn about what y'all did to us. This is disgusting.
And want to know why we always look so angry, too.
Okay? This is disgusting. You know, I know I got hype right there. But it's just one of the things, this is the narrative that's never in. The justice is still not being talked about when it came to the Charlottesville situation. I wanted, condemn it, whatever. This is fake condemnation, really. Hope I said the name right. But this is fake condemnation that these people are doing, okay? Because where is the justice? You could talk about what you don't like, but where's the justice? Because today you talk about this, but then tomorrow we're going to be talking about some young unarmed brother, man, woman, and child who just got killed by a white supremacist in a cop uniform who is a race soldier. And then there's going to be no justice for that. So don't talk about white supremacy if you're not willing to punish the white supremacists.
Justice is not profitable, you know? It's not. Especially
when the injustice is happening to people who look like us.
Oh, yeah. So you know it.
Anything else you guys want to say on this topic before we move on?
Zaccheus?
Yeah. So when you look at what's in racism and you see the injustices, so this is 2017, and only now we're taking down these statues. Only now this is being recognized. But who had to get involved? The Jews and the LGBT got to get who had to get involved to recognize, okay, we need to take down these statues. If it was our folks trying to get involved, how would these statues be taken down? Who has the power and the money to take these statues down? That's with us to take these statues down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know? So this is 2017, and we now recognizing that, okay, that these statues this gotta be done now. This won't solve all the problems and all the police brutality if these statues are taken down. It wouldn't do it. It's just recognizing that, okay, these statues are up, and these statues remind of segregation, remind of slavery and segregation in the Jim Crow era. But racism and neo-Nazism is still here.
And I want to say real quickly to good white people out there, what has been a long 2 weeks for you has been a long 500 years for us. In other news, the NFL, we have Cleveland Browns players that stood on to the protests. I'm laughing because of the way I segue that. have joined the Colin. I said, I hear you. The Colin Kaepernick protest. Okay.
Cleveland Browns.
Now, I want you to read this for me, brother.
Brother.
This is according to.
And y'all gonna need to go first. I'm just gonna sit here, put my feet up for a second.
Yeah.
And wait.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this story is brought to you by CBS Sports.
Okay.
Go ahead, Zaccheus.
Less than a week. The Browns coach Hugh Jackson mentioned that he didn't necessarily want to see the players protesting during the national anthem. The Browns responded by holding the NFL's largest protest since Colin Kaepernick started kneeling in August 2016. Nearly a dozen players went to their knee during the national anthem before the Cleveland games against the Giants on Monday. According to the Cleveland Plain Dealer, Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, Jabril Peppers, Christian Crixley, Seth DeVale, Jamie Collins, Kenny Brett, Ricardo Lewis, and Jamer Tyler were among the players who kneeled during the anthem.
Jamal Taylor.
Oh, Jamal Taylor, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The conclusion of the valve, I hope I'm saying it right, is notable because it makes him the first white player to kneel during the anthem. The vows, in conclusion, is in the Browns' protest comes in the same week that Chris Long and Justin Britt symbolically joined protests by holding on the shoulders of their teammates. And Derek Carr made a point of putting his arms around Kyle Mack during the anthem.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack. No, that's Khalil Mack. Okay.
Yeah, that's my uncle's team.
As for the Browns, there were several players who didn't kneel for the anthem, but did show support for the protest by placing their arms on the teammates. Rookie quarterback Deshaun Kizar, Sean Coleman, Breton Clarkut, Jason McCourty, and Marcus Martin.
They're gonna fire the team?
All among the group who showed their support while standing. Yeah, so the protesters, man, they did their thing, man. They kneeled. Looked like they were praying though.
They looked like they were praying.
They kneeled and they protest against the injustice.
They did look like they were having prayer.
But Kaepernick started the thing though.
Yeah,
I admire Kaepernick, man. He really started the thing.
He started it.
He started something, man.
And you know what?
I really admire him.
Michael Bennett, Marshawn Lynch, amongst others, have since the start of the season, preseason, have protested themselves.
Yes.
And the one thing that I know we laughed a little bit there because we're having fun here, but we do appreciate what these players are doing. The one thing Seth. See, here's the interesting thing about Seth. Seth is, so there's an article out there. Seth is married to a black woman. Seth said he's standing up because he knows that he's going to be raising children that don't look like him. So, but, here's the thing. So, I like the fact that this is happening, but my boycott is still active. I haven't watched the game, so I saw this in news.
Yeah, the preseason. Yeah, we haven't really.
Right, so I saw this the season already begun actually.
Yeah.
But I recently saw just in the news what's been going on because there's been more attention on the protest than the actual games, which I think is interesting. And it's only because we've had more people protest. They just don't like the fact that Kaepernick was blackballed. Now, I wish this would have happened during last season. I wish we had this much protest last season. Like, I'm talking about the numbers game. I just wish the numbers game was bigger last season when Kaepernick was still signed to the 49ers.
The difference. Oh yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Cinema. I mean, it's your time to talk. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
The difference is now the penalty. Well, the unspoken penalty in this situation where someone's been brought out of retirement over a healthy quarterback who his coach had no problems with them despite the protests. Even though the coach is not, coaching as a head coach anymore, there's no issue. And if you watch Undisputed, First Take, I watch both of them. I watch one in DVR, the other, because I watch them both.
You watch Undisputed, but you DVR First Take.
Exactly. He knows. So basically, when you find out all this outrage of how this guy, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not your best quarterback, but he's a quarterback that took a team to the Super Bowl. And has Tony Romo ever done that? And not a knock on him because he didn't have no help. But, Tony Romo is going to go down in history, maybe a Hall of Fame quarterback, but he hasn't led a team to the Super Bowl. So how is you devaluing somebody who took a team to the Super Bowl? That dude on the Ravens who nobody can remember his name, he has a Super Bowl ring. He took a team to the Super Bowl carried by the defense. Peyton even said the last year, thank you for my defense for carrying me. But, this guy has no talent, or is he playing in the offense that doesn't let him do what he does best? We talk now, if you go to last week's program, there's a lot of these points I'm not going to bring up again. But the whole thing is now you're threatening that if I do protest, I'm not, this is what's going to happen. That's why I think you have the volume of people standing up. And then you have a coach to come out with a statement. And people are like, really? Because, they've taken me, trade me. Because the whole thing is, if these people, what are you going to do? Because some teams, people ain't going to do it because they're going to get fired because of their owner. Their owner's not going to deal with it. And they've come out and said it. And I don't got time to go into that because we got Dick Gregory on there and we got to deal with. But
right. We're going to save him for last.
Yeah. And so you have a whole situation of now, oh, really? Make Marshawn Lynch, I'm not here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Right. He don't care. Well, he's from Oakland, where that happens all the time. New York, Staten Island, that stuff happens all the time. Brooklyn, if a lot of people don't live in urban cities and they don't know, the frequency of what this happens. It's just every once in a while when it's really bad, it makes national news. But it happens a lot more than you think it does.
Right.
And people, like I've shared the story. I didn't have a police record, and I ended up in criminal court for a noisy muffler. Are you serious? Yeah. Went to didn't even know where Staten Island criminal court is. I don't have a record, so blah. So, the citation, sign it, because they're trying to get you into 3 strikes. And the guy's like, "Where do you live?" "Right here." I was outside of my house. There's a lot of reasons why.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that go on, and
Yeah.
I know. Yep. Fifth said it on this show. If we don't stand up for it, nobody else will, and it's time. Yep. And it's even the dude in Philly right here, who the brother hugged him and said, "I support him."
But they don't get the same. They don't catch the same heat that Kaepernick and others catch when they're protesting. So I want people to acknowledge that too. When you see some of these white players getting into protests, they're not catching the same heat.
Right. But we talked about my girl in the soccer team and how U.S. Soccer changed the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And we,
those guys protest the football players, the soccer players, man. They really.
Yeah.
They go all
if you're on the U.S. soccer team now, there's a no-kneel policy if you're going to play. They just put it in legislation while nobody was paying attention. And so that's what you do. This is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with, people quietly trying to do things. And the whole thing is, if in our country, sadly, if something loses momentum and attention, it's forgotten, especially in this quick day and age. Like something could happen. Like everybody was, all day long, the eclipse. Oh
yeah. I remember that yesterday.
And that's how our country is now.
Yeah.
No one stays on the things that matter. It's forgotten tomorrow.
Yes, it's true.
Then 10 years from now, they'll catch a quote from you, and then this is what he thought then. Yeah, 10 years ago. They're quick to bring your past up against you. But that's a problem. What happens when you're dealing with Kaepernick? You have to shame him because he has no record. He has nothing. He hasn't done anything wrong off the field. In fact, he's done a lot right. And so you have people, he stinks as a football player. Not true. The dude's in better shape than he's ever been. You had Michael, your hair. Mike, everybody has hair dreads, craziness in the NFL. I mean, that's not it.
He later apologized for that, but the damage was already done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the sad part.
That is comment section fuel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The non-experts in the comment section, because that's all their arguments are. Oh, I'm tired of this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of your crap too. And so what's going to happen, because you don't want to deal in fact, you want to deal in public opinion, is if these guys have to stand up, because people bow to public opinion. I never have. I don't really care. A lot of this stuff is, it's not like it goes back to even with the statues and stuff. It's not being done for people. It's being done because of economics, because of an audience. The NFL doesn't make money off of who's at the NFL makes more money off of the people at home. Bottom line.
Capital, man. That's where they get a lot of their capital from.
Ratings.
The advertising and marketing and all this other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has any of us been to a Knicks game?
Years ago.
You have, Zaccheus?
Years ago.
Years ago.
In the 90s, yeah.
I've been to Nets games. I haven't been to the Knicks games. We had a business, and I still wasn't that, handling on that level.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
The Knicks play the Net.
I've
been to a Nets game.
Yeah,
when they was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know where I saw the Knicks play?
In Cleveland.
Quicken States Arena.
Quicken Loans. Yeah.
Quicken Loans. Before LeBron was back and Kyrie was balling, Carmelo got hurt. That game where Amari went off and we came back.
Yeah.
They were slamming me so hard. But let's get back to the point.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the fans don't even get to have the in-court experience. Most of the equity comes from that, the fantasy teams and all that stuff. If that, you start hitting that, you can fill a stadium and they still won't make enough money. The TV, the commercials. How much you got to pay for a Super Bowl commercial? Ludicrous.
Million.
Wow.
Because
it's in the millions.
Because everyone's watching.
Yeah, highest rated event, I think, all year.
Every year.
Yeah, every year it's the highest rated event.
Oh, Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, it's highest in sports, but it's highest period.
Highest period, yeah.
Yeah, highest viewed.
And like I said, highest grossing, the least paying.
Mm-hmm.
NBA pays their players way more and don't even gross as much.
Nope.
So,
wow.
But that's another show.
Yeah.
My point is, these things are not moved by issue. They're moved by
money.
capital.
There we go.
And now when you start talking boycott,
that's money.
And because let your ratings drop. The NBA found out that one year after everybody thought Sacramento got cheated and didn't watch.
Yeah.
NBA had to recover. And there was actually a court ruling which was sealed, but let's go on. But these are the things that I don't know it's all these things are capital. It was like when the whole team boycotted of the WNBA, then the public outcry came because the fans, you're gonna find these women who barely make money playing basketball or have the I Can't Breathe shirts. We already ain't hardly watching. We gonna watch less. All of a sudden we're giving them back the money and they can have their team pro, and then let's put other good things in with it. So if they now let's do breast cancer too, and let's do other things, because what moves people? Money. Money. Yeah. No, OJ's right.
Exactly.
But and we should I want to have a day on meaningful music one day, but
we should,
of
course we can do that.
People make songs like that no more, but that's the whole point. If that's how you're gonna have to get it done, use a vehicle that can get it done. Don't waste your time trying to do something they don't care about. I'm outside of the office with a sign. NFL don't care about that.
No, they don't care about
I'm on it. Bottom line. Oh yeah, okay, Cap, join the Jets. Somebody. God, the Jets need a quarterback, people. Come on. Don't do Todd Bowles like that. I love my squad. And the Giants is about, the Giants got Brandon. It's about to be lit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want him on my team. Oh, straight up. Props to the police officers, retired police officers, and active police officers in New York City that came out in support of Cap.
Oh, yeah.
So, and yes, bring him to New York, bring him to the Jets. Who cares about the Jets fans that'll be salty? Look what's happening to us in preseason, y'all. We getting killed. Quarterback can't even get a pass off. We need somebody who can scramble because we ain't got no line. But, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody just make a job. Nobody, nobody gonna care. I mean, some of Jets quarterbacks will cuss people off on the sideline, cuss people out on the sidelines and stuff. Shout out to Tino. Miss you, man. You didn't even get a chance to play. You got punched in the jaw, and then you didn't even get another shot later. That's kind of foul. We should have kept, But this is what I'm talking about. Right. There's a place for that you can play, and they're not the only one. There's dudes talking about dudes have made Kaepernick jerseys for their teams because their quarterbacks are so sad. And made ordered NFL custom Kaepernick jerseys for their team. And it's not only the brothers. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
That's here's the thing, because the whole thing I was talking about is the fact that a lot of these players, the reason why they're saying they're not protesting is because they don't want to lose money, they don't want to lose their jobs, they don't want to lose their endorsements,
right?
And that segues into me saying this real quickly, and then we got to get into Dick Gregory. Jay-Z had an interview with Rap Radar podcast, and what he said was he was talking about LeVar Ball with Big Baller Brand for his sons, and he was saying that he doesn't understand what the big problem is with him starting a brand, and he was saying Nike had to start somewhere, Jordan had to start somewhere, and why is it that the man has to be with Nike how come he can't start his own thing and pass that down to his family? You know, he did the business-wise did a good thing for him. And he was saying how people only take this issue when you see black folks trying to start these businesses and empires. You know, they never take that heat with anybody else. And, you know, what's wrong with having your own thing? But the thing is that nobody gets on the Asian community when they do that. Nobody gets on the Italian community, the Russian community, the Jewish community when they have their own things. But when somebody in the black community wants to have their own things, there's a problem now.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't understand that. And so if we had more of that mentality, then NFL players such as Des Bryant and other players, basketball players, wouldn't have to be scared to do these protests, because I believe a black company would stand behind them. I mean, shout outs to the black owned bank, One United, because
One United,
they unapologetically stood in support of the people who got hurt during the whole Charlottesville situation. You know what I'm saying? They did it anytime there was a situation with police brutality protests. They were right there and supported that unapologetically. Standing for that. I mean, this is a company that I can get behind. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is starting your own business is a gateway to having economical power and financial freedom. I mean, some people may look at that and see that as it's unlikely to happen, but it's got to start somewhere, because
you got to start somewhere. That's the thing. People always look at I know money is a thing, but sometimes you got to start from the ground up. You have to start somewhere, you know. I believe in that, man.
Well, it takes sacrifice. I think a lot of people don't want to sacrifice. Like Des Bryant said, he said he not protesting because he got a family to feed. Okay, whatever. Do what you got to do. But just understand this, Des. What does it gain you if you did all of that speaking against a protest, and then they still get rid of you like trash on the street? You might as well have protested then.
Yeah.
You know,
which is true
about what you not gonna do, and they still do you the same way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Then you might as well have protested then.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you can be faithful all you want, but remember, they'll still treat you like this. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Jay-Z said? Rich, poor, still. You know what I'm saying? You know.
And real talk, at the end of the day, there's people who ain't gonna protest. And you know, the whole thing is, you know, you don't have to answer the question. Just move on. If you ain't gonna do it, don't do it. You know, the whole thing is, let's just say this: when you really want something or you want to do something, you get it done. There's dudes who don't pay their rent. They rocking Jordans.
Yeah, man.
In the world. And, you know, real talk, you know, he could have kept it moving, you know, but, you know, since he said, I'm going to provide, you know, an excuse is an excuse.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, Beast Mode ain't said nothing. He just sat.
Yeah.
No press, no nothing. He just sits, and you ain't getting him to talk about it. You know, action speaks louder than words. Sometimes you don't. You know, sometimes you know. At the end of the day, you know, everyone's talking about this except for Kaepernick too, which is hilarious to me. Because this dude ain't even this dude's about his business, doing his charitable work and what he's been doing and working out, and he ain't said a word about it, but they're still talking about it.
Yeah, the Know Your Rights Foundation. I mean, so right now he's doing what his purpose is right now. He's not playing right now, but he's still doing what he has to do community wise. And the brother saved his money. You know, the brother saved his money. You know, he got a good woman who supports him. Nisa Diab, you know, who works for Hot 97 and MTV. So, you know, he's all right. You know what I'm saying? You know, and But if he don't get signed or not, whatever. It's whatever. I still support him, support what he's doing, and we that's what we got to do. Anytime you get black, I mean, he's not being blackballed for his sport. I mean, you know, he's not being blackballed for his skill. He's just being blackballed for his stance, for his political and stance against the injustice. You know, that's what he's getting. And my whole thing is, what's next? You gonna get rid of? Are you gonna get rid of all these? You know, they can't get rid of all of them, and if they do, that's gonna take a long time. But you know,
that's a half a roster.
Exactly.
Cleveland.
Exactly. You
Half
know?
a roster and your quarterback.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up the show. So before we get up out of here, we're gonna talk about a brother that means a lot to me. A lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom. Said greatly impactful things. Done grateful and impactful things. You know, this brother is now an ancestor. We're talking about Dick Gregory.
Yes.
Zaccheus.
Yes.
Just briefly talk about him and just talk about his passing. Talk about what happened.
Well, Dick Gregory passed on August the 19th, 2017. I can reflect on Dick Gregory because I remember hearing about Dick Gregory years ago. He was to me, Dick Gregory was a pioneer for a lot of comedians, man. From my knowledge of Dick Gregory, he made way for Richard Pryor. He made way, and you know, comedians looked up to him. But also, I remember Dick Gregory as a activist too, as well, because I remember seeing him in some footage with Dr. King. He met up with Dr. King. I seen him with a few people, maybe what's this other guy name? Harry Belafonte.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, and I've seen him a few pics with some of the during the civil rights movement. He was an activist, also involved in the movement. But what I admire with him is that he was not ashamed to talk about race when he did stand-up comedy. He just said what he had to say, you know, and that's what I remember about Dick Gregory. You know, I can get into his past, man. The man.
Well, tell us what he
had
died
his
from.
kids.
How did he die?
Well, I know from what I understand, from what I've looked in the media, he died from a heart failure. He was hospitalized with bacterial infection. And then that's how he passed, by heart failure. He was 84 years old. And it stated heart failure and bacterial infection. He died in Washington, D.C. You know, this past August 19th, Washington, D.C. Man, when I heard that he died, I was just remembering that was the next day. It was 2 days later. He just came back from Haiti, and I was like, wow, Dick Gregory died. You know, and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, because I know he's like I remember him just being listening to him on YouTube, because you had a lot of YouTube footage on YouTube, and this man did not bite his tongue for no one, man. He spoke it and he said it, and he just was bold when he said it, you know.
Well, he was a comedian slash civil rights activist,
Mm-hmm.
you know, black activist. So, you know, he was very funny, and you know, a lot of his comedy had a lot of truth into it. I mean, Paul Mooney is very similar to that as well. You know, somebody
Paul
who's
Mooney.
funny, but he throws a lot of truth in there. You know,
Yes.
So,
yes.
but the one thing about Dick Gregory is that, just to put into perspective, he was actually on like a comedy tour, and you know, his son have put a statement on his Instagram or his Twitter, and he said that, you know, his father had to cancel a show that he was doing the night before, and that he was hospitalized. And I'm not gonna lie, when I heard that, I got concerned, because I said, uh-oh, a man of his age being hospitalized is not going to end well. So I actually kind of thought that he was going to pass away. And I was like, wow, I guess we have to get ready for this, for him to go. And, I was, looking at him for years and thinking, man, he's getting older and older. I hope he's still with us. Like when I just saw him and his age, and, you can't escape age. And I was looking at him and I was like, I just hope we have more years with him. But then every time I saw him, I was like, man, I didn't want to hear, but I knew someday I was going to hear that he was going to, pass just because of old age.
Yes.
And when I had saw that post the day before, I was like, I better not hear tomorrow that the man is dead. And then I wake up and then I see that he's died.
Yeah. See,
Cinema, you got any things to say about Dick Gregory's passing?
Plenty. We're talking about, a lot of people don't know this about me. I did a lot of improv comedy training in New York on the down low because I was considering pursuing comedy. I'm good at writing comedy, a little bit stand up. I'm okay at stand up. I'm hit or miss, but but you're talking about a man, a lot, basically his style shaped a lot of people like Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, Paul Mooney, who is hilarious.
Right. And even Dave Chappelle.
And you want to talk about something. He was one of the first comedians who talked with a political edge that crossed audiences.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He did. Yeah.
And that's very significant. And sometimes they call him a conspiracy theorist, whatever. Whatever. The man spoke his mind, and then he was also concerned about health.
Oh yeah, he was. Yes.
He was big on health. Yes.
So basically, one of my heroes, because when we talk off air about me having these comedy ideas, it's a lot of stuff he says, and there's plenty of quotes. Like when he went into the restaurant, and before all segregation was over, and he went into a white restaurant, and then they were asking him, and the KKK walked up on him. They told you, whatever you do, he ordered chicken. He said, whatever you do to that chicken, we're going to do to you. And he picked it up and kissed it. And then he said, I've been waiting all these years to go to this one restaurant, and it wasn't all that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just wit. And, and it's comic wit, even in real life situations. It's it's so unique. You got to recognize genius. I mean, because you guys know I love Stevie, and that's somebody who worked hand in hand with Stevie, because you can't know about Stevie without knowing about him, because Stevie is definitely still an activist. He's always has been. It's somebody who put it in his music very much so, to where I'm comfortable dealing with it in the arts, because everybody I grew up listening to in the arts dealt with a lot of issues, and so someone like this, his contribution is immeasurable to what we have, and a lot of his work is the reason why him getting arrested. That's why I shared the pictures I shared on Instagram.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yes.
Because people are like, rest in peace, but you got to know the significance of a dude. And people met him and they, whatever. You don't understand the significance of what people do for you till they're gone. That's somebody that needs to be replaced. And Paul Mooney is just.
Yeah, Paul Mooney and Chris Rock are good examples of
people who were really deeply influenced by him.
Right.
And they not only did they take it beyond stand-up, they put it into sketch comedy. Like if you watch the Chris Rock show, that's the style of comedy of the Chris Rock show. That's why a show that's highly critically acclaimed, highly rated, won an Emmy, gets canceled out of nowhere. You want to know why? Go watch the Chris Rock show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
How not to get your butt beat by the police. And yes, I censored the title. And so those are the contributions. You're going to see and comedy is basically the only thing where you can be real and funny still. Yeah. Because, they're trying to make comedy PC, but that's impossible because it deals in reality, in darkness, and makes it funny, a point of view. That's, Chappelle reminds me of him. He has a wit. Chappelle has a wit like him. Mm-hmm. It's just, whew. And, he was still funny too, still entertaining, still hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And still, and still at his best, mm-hmm. And he was who he was, and you don't get that a lot anymore. And if you see all the black entertainers who you see the impact, and and it wasn't just black people who loved them, and I'm not,
yeah, everybody loved them, but I think. One thing that I take from him is that if other people didn't like him, he didn't care. But he cared about his people. He loved his people. He loved people, period. But I appreciate his activism, mm-hmm. and he's inspired a lot of activists as well. I mean, Cornel West, Tavis Smiley.
I
mean, these are people that I'm sure love and I know they love and respect him, but I think they do what they do partly because of him. I can't say solely because I don't know that for a fact, but I think partly because of Dick Gregory, that they do what they do because of him. I will even put me in that too, because I do what I do because of him on the activist side. So I definitely understand what he meant to us, what he meant to the world of comedy and what he meant in the civil rights struggle,
and influence of just people, because even when people were in trouble, he would reach out and talk to people, and we need a lot more of that. Talk to people so they could solidify.
Yeah, condolences to his family, his 11 kids and his wife, and and condolences to everyone, man.
Yes.
The Dick Gregory family, for real.
And friends and associates, and people, and people who loved, and people who, who moved, someone like that in your life, it doesn't get replaced, and it definitely will be missed, because people like that leave a hole, because they're unique. They're not people like that. You do not come across twice in one lifetime.
All right, so we're gonna close this up. Yeah. So, any last any final thoughts? Zaccheus, I'll let you go first.
My final thoughts on this is, man, when it comes to Haiti, also when it comes to donating money to any organization, also do your research, find out if it's getting to the people. That's number one. Number two, read and continue to read and learn about your history, about our history, so we can also understand why we're doing what we do, why statues are being taken down, why we do what we do, why some of our folks do what we do, taking down statues. Number three, respect to Kaepernick, and respect to all the Cleveland NFL players and all the other NFL players who took a stand after Kaepernick to take a stand and say, listen, it's something to be recognized, and something so big up to Kaepernick for standing up and taking that and being a trailblazer of standing up for justice and taking a stand. And also number four, condolences to the one and only Dick Gregory. Yeah.
All right, Cinema.
We talked about a lot today. Jumped around.
We did, yeah.
Basically, if you're gonna stand for something, just be prepared. It's gonna be hard, We talked about the Ali thing before.
Yep.
You know, on the other side, he ended up being a legend. But while he was doing it, it was similar to what Kaepernick's going through.
Yeah.
It wasn't appreciated. It wasn't liked. You know, and the legacy, you know, since, you know, we're dealing with Dick Gregory, we're talking legacy. Your legacy is, you know, if you live life for yourself, you really don't have a legacy.
Amen. Wow.
You really don't. You're not remembered. You live for yourself. You're kind of like Tony Stark in a way. Tony fights for himself. So, you know, he's not people don't appreciate the things he does.
Right.
A fictional character, but you know, it's a quick point without having to go too deep.
Right.
You know, you don't stand up for everything, but there's something to your heart. I'm not so much a hardcore activist, but there's just things. But when you come to the Christian culture, a lot of those things collide and those issues collide. And that's what I'm passionate about, just having a pure culture like hip hop, Christianity, you know, exposing lies. That's what I'm into. So if you want to hide behind your system and try to, no, you know, if that's what you're passionate about, do it, count the cost. No, you may not be seen as popular at all the time. People might not appreciate what you have to say at the time. But, you know, at the end, if you can live with yourself and what you've done and you've known in your heart this is what it is, it's not even about popularity or public opinion. It's about fulfilling your purpose. And, you know, someone like Dick Gregory fulfilled his purpose. He ran the race that he wanted to run. Yes, he did. And he never compromised.
Yes.
You know, people get arrested protesting, but not at the volumes you did before. They don't break out hoses as much, you know. But, you know, someone had to, you know, for whatever you enjoy, somebody had to pave the way and pay the price for it. And you got to learn how to stand on people's shoulders and continue. There, you know, that's a void. Who's going to pick this up? Who's going to continue? And that's the thought I want to leave you with. You know, what is it that burns in you? Because that's where you're going to make a difference. Because even when it's hard, it'll still be burning in you.
Yes.
All right, Fifth.
So we talked about a lot today. This was a very loaded show. I got to figure out what the heck the title is. I have a number of titles, but what I want to take from this is this. This whole show just sums up that the struggle continues, and that the war is not over. And when I mean the war, I mean the race war against our people. You know, a lot of people talk about, well, they were starting a race war in Charlottesville. No, the race war has been going on for over 500 years. Some wars are not only just fought on the battlefield, they're fought internally too, mentally, spiritually. So these are things that have been going on for a long time. So I just want people to understand that it's not over. You need to continue to stand up for something, stand up for what is right. Martin Luther King said an injustice somewhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I hope I said that right. So we have a problem. We still have a problem in this nation. There's still a lot we got to do. We mentioned Trump. All Trump did was just peel the scab of white supremacy. That feeling and that talk has been here forever. He just peeled the scab. And we're noticing that America still doesn't want to give up its things that it killed for, but it just doesn't want to say the words kill, because then it makes them look like savages. So then they'll just say that this is a great nation, but nobody wants to talk about how the nation was great before it became United States of America. You know, I mean, this was a nation of people who were civilized way before Columbus got here. You know, so, and also the global white supremacy. I think people think white supremacy is just an American thing. No. White supremacy existed before America existed, you know, in the sense of its name. So, and its effects and what it does worldwide, you know. So what I want people to take from today is this, you know, no matter what the situation is, always know what's going on, stay informed, and fight the good fight, you know. That's all I got to say when it comes to that. I probably said stuff earlier, and I'm, you know, but I just wanted to just leave those last things. And condolences to the family of Dick Gregory. God bless that family, you know. So, Cinema, where can they reach you?
Cinemascapes at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Zaccheus, where can they reach you?
Yes, you can reach me at Wayne Bacchus 2 on Twitter. On Twitter. Also, you can reach me at Wayne Bacchus on Facebook, and you can also reach me on Instagram, Zaccheus B73. And remember to go get that book, A Bad Man, a Thug, and a Gangster. Still available in Barnes & Noble.
All right, you can reach me at The Fifth General, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This was episode 10. I just want to let people know that the Round Circle will be taking a hiatus, a short hiatus. It will be back after episode 20 of the Mr. Z and Fifth podcast. This will not be the end of Cinema. Cinema will be joining us, our show, as a guest from time to time until the Round Circle, just to let people know, okay? We'll have him on episode 12 of Mr. Z and Fifth.
Yes.
On Mr. Z and Fifth, episode 12, we're going to have our brother Cinema join us for a very polarizing topic, monumental topic, serious topic. The topic for episode 12 will be, of the Mrs. Z and Fifth podcast, will be the silence of the Black Church.
Wow.
So that's going to be a very serious topic. That will be in a few weeks. Going to take a week off before we do Mrs. Z and Fifth again. But we appreciate you guys for rocking with us. 10 episodes of the Round Circle.
Yeah.
This podcast we love. We love doing this with our brother Cinema.
Oh, yes.
It gives us a different type of thing. This subject was a little similar to the Colin Kaepernick episode, but you know, that's all right. The Round Circle, even though we try to keep it more of a hip hop based show, but we do touch on other things from time to time with this show. And you know, we thank you guys for listening. All right. All right, so we're gonna get up out of here. Signing off. This is the Fifth General,
Zaccheus
and Cinemascapes.
All right. We'll see. We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all on the Mr. Z and Fifth podcast. Peace.
Peace.